Who should Ayanokoji end up with? Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Just Rashad. And I'm not gonna lie, this video is going to be very interesting. And I think it's gonna be kind of fun, bro. Cause like, this is like the first time I've ever made a video like this. Cause today we're going to enter the world of shipping, okay? We are going to be a shipper, all right? For those of you that don't know what shipping or shipper is basically when you pair up anime characters together, you know what I'm saying, to be in a relationship, whatever. I just thought this would be a fun, interesting, you know, video to make, especially because right now one of the main animes that I'm loving and right now is my lead candidate for anime of the year, which is Classroom of the Elite. One of the side things in you know, Classroom of the Elite that doesn't really get talked about a lot is the, you know, romance in it, you know what I mean? Like the little tiny bit of romance that's sprinkled in Classroom of the Elite. And I just thought, you know, it would be kind of fun to sit here and debate with you guys on who should end up with my man Ayanokoji at the end of this anime, bro. So without further ado, y'all, I have a list here of all the potential candidates in, you know, Classroom of the Elite, and we're going to break down each different girl and why she would be or would not be a good fit to be Ayanokoji's girl. All right, girl number one, we have Sakura. For those of you that keep up with Classroom of the Elite, bro, Sakura was the girl that, you know, wears the glasses. She has the pink, you know, long hair, and I think she was a model or something like that, but she's pretty much the girl that Ayanokoji helped in the season 1 from, you know, protecting her from that stalker dude or whatever, you know, way back when, right? And she's also the girl that's part of his study group, you know what I'm saying? But she doesn't really talk much. She's kind of shy and timid, which is kind of strange to be, you know, a model and be shy and timid like that, but it is what it is. Do I think that she would be a good fit to be Ayanokoji's girl? No. I'm sorry, guys. All the Sakura Ayanokoji shippers, I'm sorry, but this is unrealistic. I think Ayanokoji's just their vibe and stuff. It's just I don't even think Ayanokoji even sees her, to be honest with you. Like, she's, I hate to say it, bro, but she's like that one girl that's in the room that just, you know, has a crush on Ayanokoji, and she's not like she's gonna make a move or anything. And, you know, Ayanokoji's not gonna make a move, so I don't ever see that ship, you know, ever happening anytime soon. Sorry, Sakura X Ayanokoji lovers. I'm sorry. All right, so the next person we have is Sato. She's an interesting one to try to ship with, because she actually came out and just flat out said that she likes Ayanokoji. And, you know, I gotta give respect to her, because at least other than Sakura, she is someone that actually, you know, put her feelings up front and just came out and said, you know, I have feelings for you, Ayanokoji. You know, do you like me back? And ultimately, Ayanokoji shut her down, which is cool. You know what I mean? Not everyone's gonna like. You can't force somebody to like you. You know what I mean? But I just think it wouldn't work, because the thing is, with Ayanokoji, you have to, you know, I hate to say it, because Ayanokoji, he's literally like a playboy. He literally looks at everybody. Well, I wouldn't say he's a playboy. He just looks at everybody like pawns. You know what I'm saying? So like, you have to make it worth his while on why he would date you. You know what I mean? He don't just date someone just to date. And I feel like if he was to date Sato, it would just be, you know, one-sided. You know what I mean? I don't think he'll ever develop, you know, deep feelings for her, really. But Sato's cool. I like her character. You know, she is Karuizawa's best friend. I mean, it's already been official. They're never gonna be a ship, so we can just go ahead and move on to the next girl. All right, y'all. The next girl that we have on the potential list of girls that would date Ayanokoji is Hiori from class, I think she's 1C with the Ruin. But Hiori is I like Hiori. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like Hiori could match up with Ayanokoji a little bit, just because I feel like, you know, she loves reading and she loves books and stuff like that, and she's smart. You know, she's a smart girl. I feel like Ayanokoji is going to want a woman that has, you know, intelligence. Not saying the other girls don't, you know, they're not smart or anything, but I think there's a certain IQ level to where Ayanokoji would choose you to be his woman. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't have deep intellectual conversations with him, I feel like you're not going to be able to be his woman at the end of the day, bro. And I feel like Hiori, because she likes reading, she's always in the library, and she clearly has feelings for our boy Ayanokoji. I do feel like she would be a strong candidate to be, you know what I'm saying, Ayanokoji's love interest. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep her in the back end. I do like that couple. I think they would be a pretty cool, you know, couple. All right, the next candidate that we have is Ichinose from the star girl from Class 1B. Now, this ship I feel like might be the most popular. Like I said, I'm not really into this whole shipping community like that, but I'm pretty sure she's definitely a fan favorite to be with Ayanokoji, just because of her personality, and she's also another leader in her own class, you know, Class 1B. I would really mess with this, you know, this couple. If they were to ever become a thing, they would be a powerhouse. I'm not gonna lie to you. Ayanokoji, Ichinose would be a power couple, bro, because, you know, Ayanokoji, he's definitely the one with the smarts and everything. He's, you know, top of the top. But Ichinose brings her own little thing to the table because she's very popular, and she's all in all, she's a leader, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like she would bring a kind of balance to Ayanokoji's life that, you know, he doesn't really have necessarily, because, you know, he could be the leader in his own class, Class 1D, but he chooses to remain, you know, in the background, in the shadows, you know what I'm saying? Whereas Ichinose is like the upfront, you know, woman. She is the lead. She leads the pack. She wants everyone to move on. She don't want to get anybody in her class expelled, and she'll do whatever it takes to prevent that from happening. And I feel like she would be a great candidate, you know, to be with Ayanokoji, you know, if it ever does happen. So I do like this ship. I do like this ship. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, the next one we have is Karuizawa. All right. Now, obviously, you know, in the anime, she is the current girlfriend of Ayanokoji. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about in the anime. I don't know about what's going on in the light novel or manga. I'm talking about in the anime, because, you know, we're only on season 4 of Classroom Elite. But in the anime, Karuizawa is Ayanokoji's current girlfriend. But is she really his girl? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the only reason why Ayanokoji is honestly with Karuizawa is not because of her looks, not because of her personality, is because she is somebody that he can use easily as a pawn. I hate to say it. All the Karuizawa ex Ayanokoji shippers are going to come after me for saying this, but I do feel like Ayanokoji doesn't really have deep feelings for her. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, even in, you know, season 3 at the end, you know, when he asked her to be his girl or whatever, he even said that, you know, I can use her to learn about romance. You see what I'm saying? So he just views her as like a pawn on a chessboard. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think he really loves her. He's just trying to understand what love is through her, if that makes sense. But she's definitely a nice girl. I do feel like this ship, ultimately, I don't think that it would ever work in the long run, just because I think, like I said, Ayanokoji only views her as like a pawn. He doesn't view her anything else, just a good, loyal, you know, obedient person. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna use that other word because that's gonna get me canceled. But I do feel like Ayanokoji and Karuizawa would not make for a good couple, just because it'll be too one-sided. I know Karuizawa really does have deep feelings for Ayanokoji, but Ayanokoji, like I said, I don't think he has the same mutual feeling towards her, and I don't think he ever will. But right now, she is in the lead because she is currently dating your boy Ayanokoji. So let's see how long that lasts, man. Shout out to Karuizawa X Ayanokoji shippers, man. But moving on. All right, the next woman we have on here is Sakayanagi from Class 1A, the leader. This ship, you know, I mean, it could work technically because she is on the same, like, or pretty close to the same, you know, intellectual level as Ayanokoji. However, I just think that she's more of a friend than anything. You know what I mean? I don't really see that ever developing into a thing where Ayanokoji would fall in love with Sakayanagi or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Because she only views him as a competition. I don't think she's ever blushed over him or anything like that. She pretty much just wants to compete with him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that relationship, Sakayanagi x Ayanokoji, will ever fall through. Sorry to the shippers, but I really do believe there's no really love interest at all with these two. It's just more a friendly competition. Friend zone it is. Next one we have up is Kushida, from also in Class 1D with Ayanokoji. The Kushida x Ayanokoji shippers, I honestly don't know what to say about this one, if I'm being real with you. Because, I mean, I don't know if Kushida likes Ayanokoji that way, but at the same time, I know she's trying to get rid of him, but I think most of that is because he knows her past now because of, you know, Horikita, because she hates Horikita, and I don't know how that relationship develops. You know what I'm saying? That is a tricky one, Kushida and Ayanokoji, because really she could be useful to Ayanokoji because she is two-faced or whatever, so she can, you know, play these different characters, which can play, you know, well with Ayanokoji's plans and stuff like that. But as a love interest, I don't see them ever becoming a thing. It would be a really weird, strange relationship if those two were to ever get together. So I don't know, man. I really don't know about that one. That one is a very odd, you know, relationship if they ever were to end up together. But ultimately, I don't think they would, just because I think Kushida, she's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. She's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want that for my boy, you know, Ayanokoji. But hey, man, if y'all ship it, man, shout out to y'all. Salute to y'all, man. But I don't personally see it. All right, and last but not least, we have the one and only Horikita. Personally, I think that she is the canon / default romance for Ayanokoji, if we're being honest. I think because Ayanokoji and Horikita can relate on a lot of things. They're both very, you know, intellectual. They're both very well mannered. I think, you know, they've spent the most time with each other as well. You see what I'm saying? I do feel like those two would probably be the perfect match out of all of these shippers or all of these ships, you know what I'm saying, in this anime. I think the Horikita x Ayanokoji would be the ideal relationship for Ayanokoji, just because, like I said, they've been like in cahoots since the very beginning of this whole anime. Their personalities are very much similar. You know what I'm saying? Intellect is pretty much there. It would be the perfect fit for Ayanokoji, if we're being honest. You know what I'm saying? I really do feel like this is probably the lead ship out of all the ships, if we're being real. It's kind of crazy because even Horikita's brother, you know what I'm saying, her older brother, even said it himself, like, I could see you dating my sister. You know what I'm saying? And then even though Ayanokoji denies it, I don't look at her that way. But also, too, it could stir up some things between him and Pseudo, because Pseudo actually loves Horikita himself. The hothead athlete jock or whatever that's also in their class. I feel like if he was to get in a relationship with Horikita, it would definitely, ruff some feathers in Class 1D, especially with Pseudo. So I don't know, but ultimately this is probably the number one ship out of all of them that I could honestly see happening literally the next day, tomorrow. But hopefully it doesn't play out like that, because I do want it to be, I don't want it to be predictable. You know what I'm saying? This is the ideal relationship for Ayanokoji, but I do like where we mix it up with these different girls and have them choose somebody else. But if it does come down to it, Horikita would be, a good choice. I'm not even complaining. There you have it, y'all. That is all the ships in Classroom Elite for Ayanokoji. thus far, what I think about them. And yeah, man, like I said, this is a whole different video. I don't normally do this at all, but I want to see how this does on the channel. I want to see if you guys want me to do this with another series or another anime. Let's debate. Let's talk about it. I'm definitely down for it. This was fun though. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see how this video does. Leave a comment down below. What is your favorite ship in all of Clash from the Elite? Yeah, man. That's all I gotta say for you guys. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace.